you're listening, folks, because we're talking. Welcome to Wayward Weekly. I'm actually pronouncing the show correctly this time because I'm not a fucking idiot, unlike last time, where chaos and randomness reign supreme. I am once again joined by Christian. Hey, Christian, what are you doing?
Hi, I'm sitting in a chair.
I just want to correct myself real quick.
Did we say Way Forward Weekly last
I said
week?
Way Forward Weekly last night.
I think that's what we both
yesterday, or a couple days ago. And I didn't realize it while I was editing, but I do realize it now.
Yeah.
That I'm a moron. That's not the name of our show.
You said it, and I was like, you know what? That's the name of the show now.
Way Forward is actually the developers of Shantae, but I guess I've just either subconsciously changed the name of the show midway through and just didn't realize it.
Podcast of Shantae.
Bro, we only talk about Shantae. Welcome to episode 561, where we talk about adding Shantae into Smash.
It's two. Hey, man, they should have added her to Smash. They had a Doom guy.
Didn't they only add Doom Guy because he's a skin for a different fighter?
He's basically the same level as Sans. So.
Oh, yeah. I forgot they had Sans in that son of a bitch, too.
Oh, yeah, baby. Who would win a fight, Sans or a Doom guy?
Fucking... I don't want to answer this because I feel like every answer is the wrong answer.
Well, no answer is the wrong answer, too.
Alright, well then I'm going to pick Doom Guy.
Okay. I'd say Sans.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd say you're wrong.
From the dead.
Papyrus?
Yeah.
Isn't that the tall skeleton guy?
Yeah, he's the red one. Who's in Papyrus. Or Papyrus? Is that what it is? Papyrus? I don't know. I haven't played Undertale, so I wouldn't know.
I always called it Papyrus. I think
it's named after the font. Like Sans font. Comic Sans.
I should really finish my Undertale playthrough. I mean, I guess it's on Game Pass. I don't have an excuse now.
True. That is true.
I bought it a couple of years ago on my PC just because it's one of those games that was not overhyped, but I was hearing all about, and there was a big strong hate train. And of course, Mitch hated it. So if Mitch hated it, he made it very well known that he hated it.
This game's dead.
Game dead.
This game dead yet? No, but obviously it's a classic already somehow. But a lot of people liked it. So
have you played? I know it has a sequel or prequel or whatever. Deltarune.
I know, but it's free. Chapter 1 and 2 on the Switch. So I don't know if that's for Xbox too, but on the Switch, Chapter 1 and 2 is free.
I don't think it's come out on the Xbox, if I'm correct. I could be wrong.
Well, if you want to play Chapter 1 and 2, it's on the Switch for free. So
I'd imagine nice. And it's free on Steam as well, or
maybe it probably is. Honestly, you could probably pick it up for free.
That's great.
I would not be surprised.
There's a lot of games, there's a lot of games made by previous people that made just mods. Toby Fox used to make mods, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, of Earthbound, one of my favorite games.
Okay, yeah, that I think Toby Fox and shit. What's the other guy? Dan Salvato? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. What did Dan Salvato do?
He did Doki Doki Literature Club, which he made a lot of mods beforehand of Smash Bros mods, where he just added characters and balanced the game and made it not Doki. He did do that.
I don't even know they made a plus version, didn't they? Yeah, Doki Literature Club Plus. I didn't think they could add more to a story game.
I enjoyed Plus to a degree. I liked the whole prequel story, the fucking 4 hours of story they added, and I thought it was pretty wholesome and cool and whatnot. But at the same time, they took a lot of liberties and things that made the original really cool. excuse me. Now, no matter what version of the game you play, the game launches up like a discount PC that you can like
Really?
explore. Well, yeah, because excuse me again. I don't know what's causing me to burp all of a sudden. The game will launch like a in-game PC instead of like having to interact with your own PC. So instead of the game fucking with your actual PC,
It's just messing with the
It
game
just-
PC.
yeah, it just messes with the game PC. So it kind of takes you out of the world a bit because I can just turn it off whenever, and then game save. I'll just go back to the scary parts later, I guess.
Like I don't want to watch that. There's
But
some freaky stuff.
oh yeah, the game can be freaky deaky. When I first played it, I was I was tricked into playing it on Discord. B, I
What?
beat it all.
Wait, what?
I
What do you
beat it
mean?
all in one sitting.
What do you mean? Go back to the first one. Go back to the first part. What do you mean you were tricked to playing it?
I was
on Discord?
tricked. Well, yeah, okay. So I was part of a Discord group.
Baby.
Oh yeah, I was part of a Discord group back when I was doing tourneys for Dead by Daylight. That's a whole nother story in itself. But basically, what had happened was it was like 11 or 10 p.m. and they're all like, "Oh, you seen this new fucking Doki Doki Literature Club? Aye, bruv, yeah. You seen this shit?
Is that what they sounded like?
Aye, bruv, yeah. Most of them were British.
Oi, man.
Aye, man.
Hey.
This whole new Crooks and Castles thingy. My name is Wavy.
Oh, no.
You play as a hoodlum.
That's in Doki Doki.
Yeah, you actually play as a gang member.
Yeah, how were you tricked though? I still don't understand.
Because they told me it was like a cutesy, like actual visual novel, and since the front page, no, the fuck it wasn't.
It was.
Bullshit.
It's so cute. If you haven't played it yet, definitely play it. It's not scary at all.
It is fucking terrifying.
It's so fun.
Fucked me up.
It's not scary. It takes like 4 hours, like you said, to get to any scary parts, though.
Oh, it does take well, now it's like 8 because of the added. If you play Plus, it takes like 8 whole hours to get to anything scary.
What the heck?
It takes forever for the scares to show up.
That would really scare because you get so invested into it, and then all of a sudden, just boom, scary.
Yeah,
boom, scary.
And then of course, when anything popular happens, the cosplay community and the regular community has to usually ruin it. And then there's this year period where like it's dark and nobody cares.
Everyone is dressing up as those characters. It gets great. And it's Halloween, baby.
Oh God, it is Halloween. What are you doing for Halloween?
I'm gonna dress up as Among Us.
Oh, okay. Well, now I regret asking. I wish I had it. I'm gonna go scare kids in Omaha and get a police report filed on me.
Yo, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Back up. Oh no, that's not good.
I've always wanted to host like a.
I always wanted to scare children in Omaha.
I've always wanted to be a wanted criminal.
I've always wanted to have a search warrant out for me.
I've always wanted to host a Halloween party one of these years, but because none of our friends, I don't think, have hosted one more officially.
I think it's usually like 4th of July parties that we really do.
4th of July and then
like
Christmas.
Maybe a New Year's. Yeah, Christmas and New Year's, I think.
Although I'm pretty on and off with the Christmas stuff because Victor sometimes will just make the most weird changes. Like, there was one year where the gift was like a maximum of like $10. And then I'm pretty sure there was one year where he tried to push like the gift is a minimum of $50, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Fuck off.
I like the $10 minimum gifts. Those are pretty fun to do.
There's a reason there was a fucking minimum placed. Do you remember why there was a minimum placed?
I think I have an idea, but if you want to tell the story, go ahead.
It's because A,
The Rock.
Mitch forgot that we were doing it, and B, Mitch straight up picked up a fucking rock in like his front yard,
It's the perfect
put it into a box, and said, "You know what? That's good enough."
Merry Christmas. It's the perfect gift for anyone. It's like coal.
Yeah, it was fucking comedy gold.
What have you been up to this past week?
I've been watching EA in a lawsuit with FIFA.
Oh.
Have you heard of this?
Oh, no, I have not.
So FIFA has told EA, like, hey, you're making a shitload more money than we initially thought you were. All right, we're going to charge you an extra $1 billion every 4 years.
What?
To use the our logo, our name, and whatever the like their version of Super Bowl is. What is it called?
What? The World Cup, I think.
Thank you, World Cup. I couldn't remember it. Yes,
it's a Super Bowl, baby.
It's a Super Bowl.
The Mets, baby.
That's a different sport entirely.
The Mets, baby. We root for the Mets.
We always root for the Mets, no matter where they are. But so EA saw this, and EA said, "No, go fuck yourself. We're not doing that." And so FIFA said, "Okay, well, we are going to sue you for every FIFA game you've ever made from every year, and we're pulling out the license, and we're going to go make new games somewhere else."
What?
Yeah. So EA isn't losing. Okay, so the only thing EA is losing is the FIFA name, the logo, and the fucking Super Bowl. Whatever.
The Mets, baby. That's what they're losing. The Mets.
They are, however, not losing the team names, the player likenesses.
Naturally. That's all, yeah. That's all like contracts.
Yeah, so that's all individual crap.
Good.
I mean, it's good and bad because FIFA made like a statement where they're like, "We're for the gamers, all right? We're so tired of these gamers having no choice when it comes to FIFA games." And we're like, our interests temporarily align, but I don't fucking trust you for a second.
No one cares about FIFA, dude. I've never. I mean, obviously, FIFA's a pretty big franchise and people play it, but Lord, there's other games out there. We care for the gamers, for the Mets. We care about the Mets, baby. The Mets, yeah.
Well, here's my line of thinking with this. FIFA pulls out, and that's when the NFL, they start sniffing. They're like, "Is that fucking money? Is that money?" They look over at FIFA. FIFA's making a shitload of money, making their own mobile games or whatever the fuck they plan on doing. And then Madden, they're like, "Well, I want more money. Yo, EA, 2026, we're done. No more contract. We out." Maybe that will happen, and the NFL will stop being complacent and try to make their games good.
That's pretty funny.
Or the NFL just does not give a fuck.
No,
but
100% don't.
I'm hoping FIFA bailing out and making more money because FIFA likes money, and so they'll post about how much money they're making, and then the NFL will notice it and be like, "Okay, well, we want some of that."
Themselves, you'll be like, "Here's our earnings."
Basically, fuck
Got
that.
Got him.
Who makes the MLB games? I know it's not EA.
It's the Sony Studios, I think.
Oh, well, thank God. Cherish them because they're not EA.
Yeah, I already do. Sony Interactive Entertainment. That's who makes it.
Okay.
And it's weird that it's on the Xbox.
I think
that PlayStation logo. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
Do you actually see a PlayStation logo when you launch the game?
It's literally the first thing you see, pretty much.
Oh, that's
you're like,
baller.
Hey, how do you get a PS5? It's good that they're sharing at least, you know. I was really mad. I was like, I'm not about to buy a PS5 to play MLB The Show. And then they're like, it's coming to Xbox, baby. So you can play as the Mets, baby.
The Mets. We love the Mets around here.
Yes, we do. That's who
Let me ask you this. Since that game came over to Xbox after years of being a PlayStation exclusive, would you want to see something like, I don't know, Halo or Gears of War or any other Xbox exclusive come over to PlayStation?
Oh, man. That's tough. I would say Bethesda. But I don't know what's going on with the Bethesda stuff right now. So, but honestly, I would like to see Halo, but because it's already reached out to PC, so if you have a PC, you can play Halo. But I feel like you would just bridge the gap even closer.
I would love to see something like Halo or Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, just because, like, if in all honesty, I'm kind of tired of exclusives, like. Which is weird, because if you were to tell, like, past self 10 years ago, like, hey, we don't need exclusives anymore. This is like a
liar.
This is an outdated business model, and we should really get rid of it. Old me would have been like, what are you talking about? We need them.
Just like how the console wars every year, it just feels so weird because people are like, this is better. It's like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, both the consoles are so good that it's like you win with whatever you get. It's not like a clear outlier. So it's just so outdated. I mean, if you like, it's understandable for like Nintendo versus Microsoft because there's two different things, and you won't see Nintendo games on, Microsoft, but I don't know. It's just so weird to see it. Like on the Switch, there's all the, you have Doom on there already. You have a bunch. You have The Witcher 3 on the Switch, which is really weird. There's Skyrim, Bethesda on Skyrim. What?
Oh God!
It's a very weird system. So
can we get Cyberpunk on the Switch, please?
Dude, this Cyberpunk can barely run on a regular Series X. Gonna run on a 5-year-old console.
I just want to say that when that game dropped, I did the New Zealand trick. I wasn't waiting till midnight. Go fuck yourself.
You told me about the New Zealand trick.
I told you about the New Zealand trick. And then I remember messaging you like within an hour and a half of game time. And I'm like, hey, does this like not run very well? And you're just like, no problems. FPS has been at 60 the whole time. It runs perfectly. This game's great. Just like, I've been misled by the marketing team.
You've been had, sir.
Oh God,
it's a headache. That whole situation is still a headache, man. Where they're not releasing the next gen stuff for another like year, and it's like, all right, just how about stop promising things?
I think
until you can like release stuff.
I think what pisses me off about the release is that like it got delayed like what 3 significant times or 4 significant times, if I'm correct. I don't remember how many times it got delayed.
Oh. What's going on?
Oh, you good?
I can't hear.
You can't hear me? Why can't you hear me? You son bitch.
Oh, here we go. I can hear again.
All right.
Sorry.
Took your ears off.
He got banned. Or not banned, but he got delayed from the Discord. It got delayed a couple times. And there's one time where they're like, is it for sure going to come out on this date? And they're like, yes, it is. And they're like, cool, I'm taking off work. And then they literally the next day, they're like, hey, about that.
But
like, we're delaying that again.
It got delayed. I'm just going to say 4 significant times because I don't remember exactly how many. But out of the 4 times it was delayed, 3 of them were when the next gen consoles didn't exist.
Yeah.
So what was Twitter's excuse going to be when it came out on these Xbox Ones and PS4s? You know, the console it was primarily marketed to, I would say, and it straight up worked for nobody on console because we would have all been stuck on old gen.
It was business.
I hate Twitter. This leads to a different thing entirely. I hate Twitter.
How dare you hate Twitter? Twitter's the best platform out there, baby.
When Cyberpunk just straight up didn't work, everyone on Twitter was just like, I've got a 4 billion RTX super hybrid computer connected to the fucking moon, and it works just fine on my gigabyte super hertz computer. And I'm just like, congratulations. Shut the fuck up.
Like, please stop.
I just console that it was marketed for, and I was told would work just fine.
It's I don't know how they could have handled that situation to make it better, honestly.
I think to make it better, they should have just discontinued the Xbox One and PS4 edition.
Oh, but they did do the PS4 edition, didn't they?
No, it's back now.
Oh, okay.
It came back.
It's like, I'm back, baby.
Apparently, the game running at 20 FPS instead of 10 is significant enough for Sony to be like, yep, that's good enough.
Hey, man.
Good job.
It's like, we're up 10 frames, baby. Let's go.
Let's go Mets. Come on, Mets.
Yeah, baby,
we love the Mets.
Oh, man. Oh,
So,
okay. Oh, sorry. You go.
Let's hear it. No, I want to hear it.
I refuse.
I
refuse. It's
well,
live.
then show's over. I'm done.
Okay.
End of the show.
Thanks for joining.
I got a little. I have a little surprise for you. I have a little main event, which is something I don't want to do. It's something that I want to have often, but not like every show. Every show has a big main event.
Okay.
And I'm gonna card. This is you're gonna be making a tier list.
Oh Jesus! I think you teased this in the last episode.
I did, but I didn't say what.
You didn't say what, which is scary.
All right, are you ready for this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
You are going to be making a tier list of exclusively World War II conspiracy theories.
What?
Ranging from good
what?
to God, I really wish I didn't have to type this because it hurts me knowing that this theory is so wrong.
No, how am I doing this?
All right, so there's only 9 of them.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you. I have written here a brief summary of the theory. Some of these I could summarize a bit better than others. And once we're done, we're gonna talk about it, and then you're gonna put it through like S through F tier. So S, A, B, C, D, F.
E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
We're not.
You are.
I was considering a nuclear option, an option SS, but I figured that would be a little bit too offensive, so we're not going to do an option SS.
A, B, C, D, F. Got it. Okay.
All right. A, B, C, D, F. That works. Okay. So are you ready?
Yes. Should I type it out in our chat so you know what I picked?
No, I got it right in front of me.
Okay.
I got it right in front of me, and I'm just going to type right next to the theory, like A, B, C, whatever the fuck you pick.
Okay.
All right. So theory A is called the British 17. And so in 2009, during a checkup on Auschwitz, because they always do these checkups to make sure the buildings they won't be crumbling anytime soon. And they do whatever repairs. They were actually fixing one of the walls, and they found a piece of paper behind the wall with a list of names. Some of these names actually had tallies on the side of it. And on the back of the paper, in German, were the words now, never, and since then. It's most likely that these names on the list were at one point POWs in Auschwitz, because that's what Auschwitz started off as.
Yeah.
A POW camp. However, that's all we really know, and even that is just kind of a theory in itself. But the theory goes...
The game theory
goes is that the 17 names on the list were actually 17 names associated with an actual British SS corps called the British Free Corps that had 57 some members, but never exceeded 27. And essentially what the British Free Corps were British POWs that were conscripted by the Nazis to go fight the Soviet Union. They were offered better rations, better treatment, actual living quarters and whatnot. And so the list of names on this piece of paper are believed to be associated with that Nazi division that was made up of British POWs. And that's the theory. We don't know anything else besides that.
Wait, what?
That's it.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna put it in. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna put it in like C, like a low
C tier.
Yeah, there's nothing really like interesting, I guess. I mean, sure, there's some little cool factoids in there, but nothing really like blowing me out of the water, fact wise, or not fact wise since it's a conspiracy, but like information wise, I guess.
I think the lack of information and the fact that we have nothing to go off of.
Yeah, they're literally it's just speculation which is a conspiracy theory. None of it's like actual fact, I guess. So it's but there's really just that they're like, this paper has 17 names on it and it was connected.
You make it sound like it's some kind of creepypasta.
Yeah, that's a C for me, dog. That's a C for me, dog.
I should also warn you, some of these I pulled from Reddit, and one of these are stupid obvious that it was from Reddit because it's so bad and it hurt me typing.
No.
All right.
Okay, bring it on.
Theory number 2, the Churchill and Soviet Union theory. In June of 1941, Churchill gave a speech in which he announced that the British Empire and the Soviet Union had made an alliance. Keep in mind, this alliance was shortly after Germany had invaded the Soviet Union. So, the Germans started to question, why would a colonialist, Churchill, want to aid a communist, Joseph Stalin, so suddenly in the Soviet Union hour of need? The theory goes that Joseph Stalin, in a desperate act, struck a deal with Churchill. As for the details on said deal, we have no idea. But in 1947, suddenly, and without reason, tensions skyrocketed between the Soviet Union and the British and the US, which we now call the Cold War.
Yeah.
Some believe that this
suddenly without reason, and then the Cold War. There's
well,
reason for the Cold War.
Hold on, listen. Hold on.
This weird Cold War happened in no reason.
Some believe that this sudden rise of tensions was because the Soviet Union had actually gone back on their deal, whatever the deal may have been. And that's the theory.
Yeah, that's a D.
That's a D,
man. That's a D. I don't need to think about that. That is a D.
No discussion needed.
No, I don't need to discuss. The part that got me was like, yo, he suddenly rose when like the Cold War started for some reason. I don't know why.
We don't know.
The Cold War was peaceful. What do you mean?
We didn't do any basic
going on there.
We didn't do any basic research.
Yeah, no, that's a D for me, dog.
All right. Theory number 3. Japan wanted America to join the war. So, obviously, in 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, getting the U.S. involved. Officially, Japan and the United States, officially, Japan attacked America because of the oil embargoes and to prevent U.S. naval fleets from getting involved with military actions in Southeast Asia. However, the theory goes that Japan actually attacked the U.S. in fear of what would happen if Germany actually won the war. And in 1941, Germany was winning a lot of its battles and was taking Europe real fucking fast. Germany at the time was also on an ethnic cleansing campaign for anyone not of the Aryan race. And this is the blue eyes, gold
white
hair.
dragon.
Yeah, blue eyes, white dragon. Japan, seeing on how well things were going at the time, feared that if the war were to go in Germany's favor, the way it was going, that this war is actually going to be an open and shut case, and Europe is just going to be one giant Germany. And then they were going to march on the Soviet Union, and then they were going to march
Germany.
on China, and then they were going to... Big Germany.
Big Germany.
It's all one just big Germany, boys.
It's New Germany.
So eventually, they thought Germany would actually turn on them, since they would have been considered a savage race at the time. And they would just be wiped off the earth by the German Empire. So, Japan knew that there was no way the British would be able to handle this on their own, especially if they were to surrender, and then they were to attack the Soviet Union, yada yada. So they got America involved to guarantee the downfall of the Nazi Party. With America involved, they would easily push back the the Nazi army and potentially rope the Germans back in. That's the theory.
Okay. You know, that one actually has some thought and dedication into that theory, not gonna lie. Like, if you told that to me and I didn't have like a history class, I could easily like go, oh man, that was, I could believe it, Like, sure, why not? So I think that gets a B. Not an A, not an A. I think that's a solid B. A low
solid
B, high C.
All right, hell yeah. I can't wait to see none of these in the A tier. Actually, we might see one. One of these is actually really good.
I'm waiting for the Taco Bell tier list here soon, baby.
We'll be getting a Taco Bell tier list. All right, number 4. America wanted to test the Soviet Union alliance. So, excuse me, my fucking list is breaking at the seams here. Come on, you son of a bitch. There we go. In 1942, an operation was conducted that sent 16 B-25 bombers to attack the homeland of Japan. Now, I don't know if you know what a B-25 looks like, but these are big aircraft. So, while they can be launched from an aircraft carrier, they can't land back on the aircraft carrier because they're so big. The aircraft carrier, so they were launched from the aircraft carrier, and then they were instructed to land at an Allied airfield in China. However, they were actually spotted 2 days early before the actual planned date of the operation. So, the order was given that day that the operation would begin that day. That was pretty terrible wording on my part. However, none of the raiders had enough fuel to make it to the Allied airfield in China. Most of them would crash due to lack of fuel. All the crew would bail out, and the plane would crash. However, one of the B-25s actually managed to land safely, but in Soviet Union territory. The pilot of this plane was named York. And his reasoning for landing at the Soviet Union airfield is because he knew they were allies at the time, at least in Europe. The Soviets had signed a non-aggression treaty with Japan prior to Pearl Harbor, so seeing a plane that had just bombed Japan wasn't exactly a welcome sight. The whole crew was held for a year and then turned back to the U.S. by 1943. True story, by the way. However, the theory goes that York was actually given top secret orders to land in Soviet territory to test Soviet sympathies with the war in the Pacific. The U.S. was considering actually placing bombers in Soviet territory since they didn't have any major land that was close enough to Japan at the time of the war, and was actually hoping to ask the Soviets to launch operations on Japan from Soviet territory. but they never went through with this idea. If York was to be refueled and sent on their way home, the U.S. would have probably went through with this original idea. Even more fuel to the fire here. Years later, the navigator of the B-25 asked his former commander, York, if the landing in Soviet territory was deliberate, to which he responded, he didn't order them to. That's the theory.
What? Okay. There's not more?
There is not more. Basically, the U.S. wanted to test if the Soviets would play nice, essentially.
That's it. Okay. I mean, I expected more because I don't know. That's just me though, because I kind of played it out as a movie in my head. So I was like, "Oh man, what's gonna happen next? Oh, there's stuff next." Not just, "Oh, we're gonna test it out." I feel like if the U.S. wanted to test out their alliance with them, they would have done it a different way than wasting supplies and time to send some hoopties over.
Some hoopties.
And waste precious time and money on it. So that, honestly, I would say it's a cool concept, sure, but it's not really thought out well, in my opinion. So that's definitely a D. I'd give it a D. Yeah.
Even with the fact that the story behind it is true.
I mean, the story's pretty cool because he didn't know about that, the peace treaty at the time, but the conspiracy theory kind of weighs it down, where it could have just, I mean, it's cool without the conspiracy theory. You leave it at that, it's a really cool story. But then you add on, it's meant to be.
Slender Man got
it.
Like,
no, just let it stay the same story. It would have been an A. It's an A story for sure, but yeah.
Not an A theory.
No, not a game theory either.
All right. So this next one is actually one of, I believe, two-part theories. So number 5A and number 5B. So we're gonna have to rate these both. So number 5, Glenn Miller's disappearance. So if you don't know who Glenn Miller is, he's actually a swing musical artist that had a lot of top 10 hits back in the day. So, a day before the Battle of the Bulge, Major Glenn Miller was scheduled to fly to Paris with his band, with members of his band that were waiting there to perform. All right? So, he gets on this plane with a pilot, another passenger, and Miller, obviously. And in order to reach Paris in a timely manner, the pilot had to fly over the English Channel. I know, change the channel, am I right?
Okay, all right.
This is the last time that the plane was heard from. Facts only. It was assumed that the plane had a cold patch, causing parts of the engine to freeze and certain gases not being able to reach certain parts of the plane, essentially stalling the plane and inevitably crashing into the cold water. The problem with this official statement that we've eventually come up with is that at no point did the pilot or any of its crewmates ever attempt to send a distress signal in any capacity. So whatever happened must have been sudden. The only piece of official information we have left is that conveniently a group of bombers were a few hundred feet above them in the clouds, also flying over the English Channel, returning home from an aborted mission in Germany at the exact same time as Miller's plane was flying over the English Channel. So the theory goes is that the bombers, in order to save on fuel to make themselves faster and safer to land back at base, ditched the bombs over the English Channel. And one of these bombs just might have hit Glenn Miller's plane. And why we think this is one of the airmen actually reported some bombs would explode just below the clouds, just high enough to where it would be suspicious. What's even stranger is that while no one on his plane confirmed this at all, a different airman entirely who they have never met before reported the exact same thing.
Okay.
That is theory A.
You know what? Theory A sounds really cool. Because it's not, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's like, there's kind of some evidence and maybe not evidence, but there's kind of some like testimonies saying that, and then it matches up with different people. This might be the first A, in my opinion.
Oh,
it's definitely got like, it's got some things kind of leading in the right direction, which kind of makes you assume even more. So without like saying blatantly, yeah, this was actually this thing right here. It's like, hey, maybe it could have happened. I don't know.
He was abducted by the aliens.
He's adopted by the aliens, and then they said we like the Mets, okay?
God, and he's watching the Mets right now.
Yeah, baby. But no,
Glenn,
I like that one. That's an A. That's an A for me.
All right, first A. Congratulations, Glenn Miller. However, I don't think Theory B will be getting an A.
No, you don't think so?
Theory B for Glenn Miller's disappearance suggests that Miller actually did make it to Paris. However, when he entered Paris, he entered a brothel and died of a heart attack while being a good Samaritan, if you know what I mean. Given the unsavory circumstances of his death, it was covered up and was told that he may have died in the English Channel instead. But that begs the question, what about the pilot? And what about the other passenger that was on board? There's no way that they would have been kept quiet or went into hiding all these years just for one person. Right?
I don't know. That's it?
That's it. And the reason that this theory exists is because there was actually newspaper publications in Germany that reported it as he entered a brothel and died of a heart attack.
Okay, so it had reportings.
Yes, but it's probably...
It's not...
We assume it's fake.
Huh. Oh, man. Honestly, after hearing the last one, I might have to give this one an F.
And our first F. Thanks. Good job, Miller. You're on the top and the bottom.
The first one sounded so cool, but the last one was like, and if that didn't happen, he actually just made it and he died at a brothel. There's nothing to do with spectacular. There's not like, oh, well, he did a 360 no scope off the plane. It's kind of boring. So if you're gonna make a theory, then do something good.
I found the first theory actually super interesting. Like, it's really good, honestly.
It's definitely, because you hear, I don't know, I just like it. That's my favorite so far. That's why it's in the A tier.
All right, number 6. What happened to the Nazi gold train? In December of 1943, many German high officials were starting to fear that the war at this point was unsalvageable. There's no way they could win. And so they got together, collected all the major German artifacts and gold and whatnot, and they had around 330 tons worth of gold, jewels, weapons, and one-of-a-kind rare artistic masterpieces placed on an armored train. And they did this within a period of 2 months. Later, and apologies for the butchering of these sayings because these are fucking cities in a different language. 2 months later, in the city of Furberg, excuse me, the armored train departed to reach Waldenburg. A few hours later, however, while records show that the armored train was leaving the original city, I'm just going to call it that because I'm not going to pronounce this shit correctly, there's absolutely nothing showing that it arrived at Waldenburg. The train was never found, and some people believe it just never existed in the first place, and it was just all a ruse for the Allies. The theory goes, however, that the train was diverted midway through its route to a secret mine that was very suspiciously being cleared out by the Germans around this 2-month period. So the train was swapped midway through to a different track, sent into the secret mine, and was sealed off from the rest of the world. Months later, the tracks that this train took were bombed pretty heavily by the Soviet Union. So this is why we cannot find the tracks that it took, because the Soviet Union actually bombed the fuck out of it. The train was never intended to reach Waldenburg, which explains why absolutely no records of the train exist at that station, but was found in the original station.
What? What? That's just weird. What?
It's not too far-fetched of a theory,
No.
realistically, because the Nazis were burying a bunch of stolen goods and whatnot.
It's not too like far-fetched either. It's so man. This is definitely middle for me. It's not like super boombastic or something like super like, oh, this sucks. So honestly, this is probably another like C. There's nothing too interesting.
Yeah. I would say B at least.
Yeah, I'm giving it
I don't know.
That's just middle of the road for me. Nothing too
middle of the road. All right. Nazi Gold Train, you're going to the C tier. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
All right, we're almost done here. Number 7. Hitler planned to lose from the beginning.
F.
All right. Trust me. Let me just tell you this. I got this one from Reddit, and it hurt me typing.
Really? I can already tell. We're
just going to read it anyways before you instantly put it in there.
Right,
so as we all know, Hitler wanted to become an artist, and he tried 3 separate times to join fine arts school. Once in 1900 and 2 separate times in 1907, and was rejected or denied all 3 times. And by 1909, had actually run out of money and was forced to sell his work on the streets. By 1941, Hitler had joined the German army at the time and was appointed as a runner. And if you don't know what a runner was, it was basically a guy that would deliver messages from the front line to the back line. If you ever played Battlefield 1, there's actually an entire campaign that revolves around a runner. However, by 1918, Germany had surrendered, and Hitler was pissed. The theory goes, by this fabled Redditor, that in Hitler's rage and feelings of betrayal from not only fine arts school, but the German people themselves, decided that if he wasn't going to be remembered as a extremely good painter, would instead be remembered as this noble leader that would go out and show the world that, hey, Germany isn't that bad. Germany is a great country and we love it. And he would achieve this by planning out some of the greatest / disastrous military actions for as long as he could. First starting off with Poland, taking that, and then taking most of Europe. He had actually hoped to take Russia within 3 months. And if he could take this all of Europe, and unite it under one big Europe, one big flag, that he would be remembered as the greatest human being of all time. However, why he planned on losing from the beginning is he actually planned these military disastrous actions by the end of the war, hoping that eventually Germany would be roped back in and he would be remembered as the man that almost unified Europe. Obviously, we don't remember him that way, and I don't think he planned on all these disastrous military actions. But, Reddit believes everything they write.
Too bad I don't believe. That is the most ridiculous. No, I'm right. It's F, man.
F.
I think it's pretty. Yeah, no, that's a no from me there, dog. That's an F. I'd give
All
it
right.
a freaking D.
You're
No,
going
I
to
don't
put
give
it
it a D.
F or
No, I'm
D?
not. It's F.
F for fucking stupid.
F for failure.
God. All right, we're almost done here. Number 8. This is the other two-parter theory. So theory A and theory B. Where did Hitler's world globe go?
F. No.
Well, hold on.
I'm kidding.
Hold on. In Hitler's office was a really big globe that was designed in 1930 specifically for the Nazi Party. And if you haven't seen it, it's this really impressive globe. This globe was featured prominently right next to his desk and can be seen in major photographs or videos all throughout the war. He even brought it to his Berlin bunker near the end of the war, where he later killed himself. However, after the war ended, the globe went missing. The theory goes that the Soviets, while they were storming Berlin, Joseph Stalin actually personally requested by some higher elite teams of units. I forget what they're called. I didn't write it down, but they existed. Just know that. Joseph Stalin personally requested
the G Squad.
The G Unit Squad. They drink G Fuel and shit. Joseph Stalin.
G Unit.
He actually hired the. You remember the movie G Force?
No,
Actually,
I swear to God, Ryan, I'll end the podcast right now if you bring up G Force again. I'm done with it. I'm done.
Joseph Stalin personally requested the globe as sort of a spoil of war or trophy. However, Russian officials to this day deny ever taking the globe, and we have absolutely no idea where it could possibly be. Some think that Joseph Stalin took it to his grave, and some think he has it in a vault somewhere. That's theory A.
That's it? Okay. It had a really good setup because obviously you kind of it set up the importance of the globe, obviously, and just kind of how everyone thought it was cool. It kind of fizzled out for me, I guess. We're just like, it could really just be anywhere, though. It wasn't like, hey, there needs more information for me, at least. But I think it's a cool concept. In my opinion, it's better than the Nazi gold train.
Better than the Nazi gold train.
I have to leave it at a B, though. Like a low B.
All right. Theory A for Hitler's globe. All right. Theory B.
Actually, he went to a brothel and it died.
Yeah, he was bombed. Theory B actually suggests, and you're not going to like this, Theory B actually suggests that the reason the globe went missing is not because the Soviets took it. It's because Hitler never died on April 30th of 1944, and instead took it with him to an alternative bunker in Africa, where he later planned on the return of the Nazi regime. And that's the reason we never found it, is because it's in an alternative bunker somewhere else in Argentina.
Did they also just sneak Hitler didn't die on that day?
I tried to avoid putting as many
the whole thing.
I try to avoid putting as many theories of like, oh, Hitler never died, but this is like the only one I included.
Man, that's pretty weak sauce in my opinion.
Where does this one go?
Oh, I think you can guess. Guess where I'm putting it at.
I got a feeling you're putting it in D or F tier.
Yeah, it's an F. It's an F.
Oh, damn.
Because there's no effort that went into it. There was no fact. They're like, well, he didn't actually die there. He went to a different bunker and he sat there. He went to a brothel and then he died. It's that energy right there. Except with the brothel, there was actual like documentation, sort of say. So whatever. This one's like, actually he went away and he didn't die. So it's pretty weak sauce in my opinion.
All right, we're moving on to the last theory, and then there's a few things I want to discuss about these theories. Number 9, the final theory: Japan never intended to surrender because of the nukes. This is an interesting one. I think you might like it. At the end of the war, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were both hit with nuclear armaments, as we all know, just days apart. Shortly after, Japan surrenders, despite telling their soldiers constantly that they are not going to surrender, dig in, we're prepping for an American invasion. So, what gives? Why the sudden change all of a sudden? Well, after the first nuke struck in Hiroshima, a day later, Soviets actually broke the non-aggression pact with Japan and declared war. The theory goes that Japan knew they would not survive two superpowers attacking them. They eventually realized that there is absolutely no way that if the Soviets get involved, they can negotiate or they can fight on two fronts. They were fucked. So, in order to preserve not only their country, but their way of life, surrendered to the United States, claiming that the new weapon had scared them into surrendering. Likewise, Japan figured they could actually reason with the United States, where they knew that if the Soviet Union got involved and they lost any territory, the Soviets would never give it up.
Is there more?
There is no more.
There's no more.
There's no more.
Huh. That's. I mean, I'm sitting here wanting more. You know, like, how do you feel about this? I need some.
Okay. So obviously, Hiroshima and Nagasaki being bombed are facts, and
yes.
Russia breaking the non-aggression pact, declaring war on Japan, is also factual.
That is correct.
What I wonder is, why is Japan so set on, like, oh, we hate America, fuck you, like, do something, pussy. But the second the Soviet Union gets involved, they get scared. Which, there have been some accounts by Japanese soldiers where they're like, yeah, America can drop as many bombs as they want. We're not going to surrender. Fuck that. So, I wonder, I'm iffy on this. One half of me wants to say, like, oh shit, yeah, that's sort of plausible. But the other half of me is just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward that other end where I'm just like, I don't know. It's definitely a good theory for sure, but there's some I don't know factors, you know. So I for me personally, it'd be a B. It'd be a B.
A B.
A B.
I put a fucking BG for big. I don't know. Big stupid.
Big what? Big stupid? That's what S stands for. SG.
All right, so you're putting it in B tier.
Yes.
There's a few theories that I actually I want to argue with you. Theory 2, the Churchill and Soviet Union theory. Okay. So, believe it or not, minus the ending part where just like Cold War started because the United States was super angry or some shit.
Why was that even started?
The question of why would Britain and the Soviet Union make an alliance so suddenly was actually a legitimate, like, question and concern that the Nazi Party had at the time, and they felt kind of like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? This is kind of sus, if you know what I mean. That's exactly what the German army said. That's their words.
Bombs, I swear.
These guys are duoing.
He vented. I saw him. He vented.
But this is an actual thing that Germany threw into question. Now, of course, their logic and reasoning behind it was like, oh, this has to be the Jews. This is obviously the work of the Jews. But I tried to exclude that as much as possible.
Explanations.
That was a lot.
I'm going to be honest.
But I feel like this one should at least be bumped up to maybe a C.
The thing that got me, it was the Cold War thing. Where what did you say about it? What's in your notes about the Cold War?
That the 1947 was basically start of like tensions skyrocketing, and this would be later be known as the beginning of the Cold War.
Yeah, and I think for no reason, right?
Yes, some people
there's
believe
a lot of reasons.
some people believe that by 1947, the Soviet Union was going back on their so-called deal.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of other things that was happening during that time too. That led. It wasn't just one thing that suddenly skyrocketed. It was just a bunch of things, just slowly building up together until it's just the pinnacle, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no.
I think the theory. I think what makes this theory a C or a D for me, I think, is the fact that Churchill even stated in his speech in 1941, that the fascists are the greatest threat to the British at the time, and he says it in his speech. So it kind of makes sense that while he hates communism, he would want to kind of align with them for a minute. Be like, hey, we got an equal enemy, type shit.
Sure.
I don't know. Now that you mention it, I guess, yeah, it makes more sense to belong in D.
I don't know. That's just me, because there's just not enough pieces to make it a C.
Here's another one I wanted to talk about. America wanted to test Soviet Union alliance. Yeah, okay. You said you like the story behind this one.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
But I think what kind of gets me, and while I want to raise it up a bit personally, is because York, in a reunion, was later asked by his navigator. He asked by his former commander if the landing in Soviet territory was deliberate, to which he responded, he didn't order them to. I think the kind of like coldness of this statement it makes it, I hate to say it, a bit sus, if you ask me.
Sussy.
A bit of a sussy baka, if you ask me. Which it makes me think that maybe like there's like I don't want to say it's like he definitely did it, but it's just like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's not like totally out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah. Where did I put this one at?
You put this at a D.
Oh, I put it. Okay, that's right. Dang. Honestly, now that I think about it again, I'd probably raise it up to a C.
All right, we're going to C.
But nothing higher than that.
I don't think anything higher than C. I don't think this is a B tier and A tier theory.
I don't think it's like blowing my mind where I'm like, oh my gosh.
I do like the story behind it, because the story behind it is actually true.
Yeah. But then the theory behind it's just kind of, it's like, okay, I don't know.
The only thing that's like true in the theory wise is the navigator asking York, like, hey, was this deliberate?
Yeah.
That's the only true part.
I feel like it needs more if it wants to get higher. If there's more information on it, then it's definitely a higher theory. But other than that, it's kind of just nothing to me.
You have no idea how hard it was to put. I originally wanted to put 20 theories down, and then I wanted to put 10. But it was so hard to find World War II theories that weren't just like super god awful. Like, oh, well, the Holocaust never happened. Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy, actually.
Hitler is actually in Congress right now.
He is currently Donald Trump reincarnated. Yeah, there were a lot of like dumb theories, like how Donald Trump and Hitler are actually related. Like, I'm not putting this down. This is dumb.
That's Reddit for you, baby.
Reddit for you. Let's see. Reddit. Glenn Miller's disappearance. Yeah, I'm fine with that. AF.
Yeah, AF.
Nazi Gold Train. I'm surprised you put this at a C.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. It's just the middle of the road for me. There's nothing too extravagant about it. It's not like, oh shoot, they found it later. Oh my god. It's just like, oh, it's gone.
I think what lends some possibility to this train existing is the fact that we have found several like treasures from the Nazi Party just buried. And if you ever watched the movie Monument Men, I believe it's called, a very garbage movie, don't watch it, but it's actually them finding German treasures near the end of the war, which there was an actual thing that they would do, is go around looking for these German treasures. So that's why, in my opinion,
it kind of ties in a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know if I don't know if I'd make it a B. I think you may have actually hit this spot on with a C.
I feel like there's not a lot going on.
It's
that I want to hear.
I guess it's just like I guess that could have happened type of theory.
Yeah, you're like, okay, what else you gotta say to me? There's nothing. It's not really blowing my toes off my feet, you know.
Is there another one I wanted to talk about? No. Hitler planned to lose from the beginning. F. Pulled that one from Reddit. Sucked. Hated it. That one I specifically pulled from Reddit. I hated it.
That one's
we only have one in the A tier. That's Glenn Miller's disappearance. Holy shit.
That's a good one. I like that one.
All right. That's I think that might do it, honestly. That was pretty good. I liked that.
It was good stuff. Good stuff.
This was good stuff.
It's gonna be a Taco Bell tier list.
Yeah, next week you get to listen to the sounds of us eating, and a car just went over past my house and scared the shit out of me.
I love a crunch wrap.
I love me some crunchy wrap.
Doritos Locos talking. Well, okay, so Way Forward Weekly.
Yeah, Way Forward Weekly, aka Wayward Weekly.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for episode 2. Rating conspiracy theories of World War II. And talking about how EA got sued, but, you know.
Basically the same thing.
Interchangeable, if you ask me.
Exactly.
I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. This may be a bit of a shorter episode, but hey, maybe you can enjoy listening to it to work or at work or crashing your car in a cornfield somewhere.
It can only be at work.
Only be at. All right, if you're listening to this right now, I hope you were listening to it at work. Because if you're not,
or a cornfield,
I'm calling the cops right now.
Anything else is you're gonna be fined. You're gonna be jumped account tonight if you don't.
I've already informed Agent 47. He's on his way. Good. You better start running. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, don't remember. We love you. Bye bye.